everybody out there, this is Seto, and today for you guys, I'm going to be profiling for you a deck that I can't believe I built, but there was something deep down inside of me, some dark entity, I guess you could say, that said, you know what, you need to build this deck. You need to take all that deck building skills that you have, Seto, and put them to good use. So, I built a Sphinx deck, yes. This is from the original Yu-Gi-Oh movie. It's not based on the original Yu-Gi-Oh movie, but it focuses around using the Sphinx cards, which is really funny. Now, I'm still playtesting this deck. I'm still testing the deck out. The deck is not super competitive by any stretch of the imagination. However, I bet if you play this deck, again, at locals, your friends are going to look at you and say, what the fudge is he playing? And it will probably sneak in a couple of wins unbeknownst to people if they don't pay attention to what they're doing. It's a decent deck. It's a very decent build of the deck. I have not seen anybody attempt building a deck based on these monsters. But I took my deck building skills and I built the deck, pretty much. So without further ado, let's get started. So first off, we run our one Thinian, the Great Sphinx. This guy you can pay, I think it's 500 life points. I'll read it to you guys. When this card is special summoned successfully, pay 500 life points to increase the attack of this card by 3,000 points until the end of the phase. So it'll be at 6,500, and it can get bigger than that. Next we run Sphinx Talea. We run 3 of her. And we run 3 Andros Sphinx. Now, it's very hard, and the deck's not focused completely on getting Thean, the Great Sphinx, out. It's mainly focused on Andros Sphinx and Sphinx Talea. That's what it's mainly focused on. But you can easily go for this through certain methods in the deck. So, back on track here. Andros Sphinx and Sphinx Talea, pretty much you pay 500 life points when Pyramid of Light's on the field, and you can special summon them. So you can special summon up to the 2 Sphinx Talea, 2 Andros Sphinx. It doesn't really matter. You can special summon them by just paying 500 life points. So that's perfectly fine. The problem is they can't attack the turn they are special summoned. Okay, so that sucks. However, there's a bunch of ways of getting around that. So let me point out some of the good points of these cards. First off, they are all level 10. Okay? He's level 10, she's level 10, he's level 10. Second off, they have good attack. Third off, they're all light attribute. That comes into play. Second off, Sphinx Talea and Andros Sphinx do not have a special summoning clause. What I mean by that is, it doesn't say something along the lines of, this card can only be special summoned by this way and no other way. So you can use other cards to special summon them. That's very important to keep in mind. The other thing is they both have to be on the field to get this out, to get Thinian out, which is the reason I only run one Thinian. So like I said, light, level 10, no special summoning clause for these guys. This one, yes, because they both, to get him out, you have to have one Sphinx Talea, one Andros Sphinx. They have to be destroyed at the same time to get this out. So, let's get deeper into the deck. I can't believe I'm profiling this deck. I am like laughing internally. I'm trying to hold it together right now. So, remember this guy? Apprentice Piper? Remember how I used this in Earthbound Immortals? Well, it's really good in this deck because you can set this guy, flip it up, and you can special summon any one of these. So if it's set and it's attacked and it goes to the graveyard, so it gets flipped up, that's one special summon. If it gets destroyed and goes to the graveyard, that's another special summon. And like I said, you don't need the Pyramid of Light on the field for that. And the cool thing is about Apprentice Piper in the deck is you're special summoning usually on your opponent's turn. If you're trying to get two of them out on the field, or one of them. So that it can't attack on the turn it's special summon does not apply. It means nothing, because when it comes back to your turn, you can start swinging with these bad boys, which is awesome. Oh, by the way, that 3,000 defense does come into play for her. So that's the really awesome part. Apprentice Piper works well in the deck. There are 6 ways to special summon out the Sphinx monsters. These 2. And there's a couple ways you can bring Thinian out, which we'll talk about in a bit. So yeah, this is so good in the deck. Because like I said, it can be either one. So you could bring out 2 Sphinx Talea or 2 Andros Sphinx. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. When you're using Apprentice Piper, which is nice. And you can special summon up to how many times you want to per turn. It doesn't matter. So if you have 3 of these in hand, you can special summon all of them by paying 15,000 life points. Alright, let's go deeper into the deck now. Next we run 2 Cat of Ill Omen. Now, I really want to run Necro Valley in the deck, because Necro Valley could be an anti-meta card with this deck and work really well with it, and it would work well with Cat of Ill Omen. However, after I explain Cat of Ill Omen, I'll tell you why I did not go down that route completely. So Cat of Ill Omen is a flip effect monster. When it's flipped up, you get to add, if Necro Valley is not on the field and it's flipped up, you get to add 1 trap card from your deck and put it on the top of your deck. If Necro Valley is on the field, you get to, when it's flipped up, you get to add a trap card from your deck directly to your hand. Any trap card. The problem is, it's a trap card. It's inherently slow, if you know where I'm going with this. So because the fact of the matter that it's inherently slow means that it's not so good. So even if you're adding you can search out a Skill Drain or Pyramid of Light, which are your 2 main targets. Yeah, they're good. And a lot of times I search this out because I'll usually have the Apprentice Piper. And Skill Drain works fine in this deck with Apprentice Piper. I'm just saying, because if it's destroyed into the graveyard, you still get 1 special summon out of it, no matter what. But yeah, these are the 2 main cards you search out. Oh, and by the way, if you're watching this video in the future and Skill Drain comes back to more than 1 of, run as many Skill Drain as you can in the deck. It is so good in this deck. It kind of makes the deck kind of like if you remember Beast King Barbaros, it's kind of like Barbaros Beatdown from back in the day, I would say. Kind of. That's the way this deck sort of somewhat functions. Next up, we run 2 Fire Hand and 2 Ice Hand. Yes, I know these cards are not meta. Yes, I know these cards are not as good as they used to be. I understand all that. But hear me out. But this 4-card engine I run right now, you can run it as any other monster engine you want. So I've tried, originally this was my Speedroid engine, so 3 Terratop and Tekaton board, but Speedroid Terratop went to 1. Alright, so I looked around for some other ones over the course of the weeks after the ban list got announced. I tried the Predaplant engine. It was a little bit too much. Didn't work, didn't mesh well. I tried the Summoner Monk engine. It worked okay. But at the end of the day, I decided to use the Ice Hand and Fire Hand because you'll still get their effects if Skill Drain is on the field. So that's the reason I went with this route. So yeah, if there's ever a future engine that comes out, guys, that's good. That's a 4-card engine. Run it. Some people probably are going to mention that I should run Brilliant Fusion. I tried that out in the deck, but it was kind of like, meh. It's okay. I tried the Brilliant Fusion engine. I was kind of wishy-washy on it. It didn't work out too well. I tried a lot of different engines, believe me, trying to find the right one. But next we have Malefic Cyber End Dragon. Now, this card is amazing in the deck. Just like I used it, if you remember my, my Earthbound Immortal deck, it works amazingly better. It works better in this deck than the Earthbound Immortal deck because you run 3 Mound the Bound Creator. So you can easily just go like, okay, Mound's on the field. They get over maybe one of your Sphinx monsters. You can just be like, have a 4,000 untargetable monster on the field. That's Yu-Gi-Oh, right? You want to try to give him my 4,000 untargetable monster? Cool. Oh, and I destroy your monster, you take 1,000 damage with Mound. So, yeah, I like it. It's a backup plan, and it works very well in this deck, and because it's a level 10, it's untargetable when Mound is out in the field. Next, we run 2 Honest. We run a lot of different hand traps in this deck, which I'll mention that you could cut the hands out for, you know, Drill and Lockbird. If you want to take this to locals to play against meta, Drill and Lockbird you could run, Ghost Ash you could run. I've tried True Kings just a little bit. I tried Unending Nightmare for some like little cool kinky plays you could do in the deck, but it wasn't working too well. So that's why I stuck with Fire and Ice Hand, if you guys are wondering. I'm trying to give you all this information. But yeah, as you see here, they are all light attribute. Light attribute, light attribute, light attribute. So this guy, if you get him out, you pay the 500, he's going to be at 6,500 with the Honest. That's a big boy. But yeah, this gets bigger. Honest is amazing in the deck because your main monsters are light attribute. Do some other hand traps we run. 2 Ghost Ogre, 1 Max C. You could run maybe triple Ghost Ogre. I don't know. It's up to you how you want to run the hand trap engine, but the Max C is really good. Max C is amazing. Ghost Ogre is pretty good in this meta right now, so I'm running double Ghost Ogre. It just helps the deck around, you know, in a roundabout way. It just helps the deck out in the long run. So double Ghost Ogre and 1 Max C. If you have Ghost Ashes, run them. Like I said, this deck is not meta, but I tried my best. Next, we run 3 Mount of the Bound Creator. It protects, you know, these 3 guys right here. And if you destroy a monster, they take 1,000 damage. And then, because these do somewhat like a piercing effect, they take a little bit more. So they may take like 1,200, 1,500. It just depends. It's really good. So 3 Mount of the Bound Creator and double Terraforming to search it out, because it's really integral to the key combos of the deck. Next, 3 Pod Duality. You are usually first turn not going to be special summoning because this deck is a trap-based deck. So you're either going to be setting an Apprentice Piper, a Cataville Omen, or some traps like Pyramid of Light or whatnot, you know. So you're going to be setting cards so you can use Pod Duality when you're not special summoning. So if you already got an established board, just use Pod Duality to search some more things. Pod Duality works really well in this deck as a 3-of. You may not think it does. It really does once you play test it, I promise you. And you could run Desires in the deck, but it didn't work too well out. In the long run, it didn't work out too well with Desires. Next, Upstart Goblin. More consistency, make it a 39 card deck. Double Twin Twister, if you got clunky hands, blow up their back row, get around things. Regeki and Dark Hole. The reason we run Dark Hole and Regeki is Regeki's just good, but Dark Hole works really well in this deck, as well as Torrential Tribute. And the reason for that is when you have Mound of the Bound Creator out. So if you have Mound of the Bound Creator out, and then you have one of your guys out, you know, any one of these 4, okay, out in the field, they can't be destroyed by battle or card effect. So if you have them out in the field, you can literally use the Dark Hole like a second Regeki, and a Torrential Tribute just for the, you know, if they're trying to make a play to get around certain things you have set up on the board, you could be like, oh, no. Torrential, Dark Hole, no. Oh, and my monster's not destroyed because it's a level 10. Very good. Oh, another thing I'll mention, I have been highly considering, is running a mini God engine in this deck. And you may say, what the fudge are you talking about? Like Winged Dragon of Ra in this deck, possibly. Or, you know, things of that nature. And the reason I say that is because you could take the Fire and Ice hand out, replace it with maybe a True Name. That way you can add that card from the top of your deck and maybe run a Sphere mode so you can out your opponent's boards, and then run a Winged Dragon of Ra in the deck. So, because you can put cards on the top of the deck with Cataville Omen, which is true, and then you can use True Name, draw that card, add a God card to your deck, from your deck to your hand. So it's something I'm playing around with. It's kind of cute because it's an Egyptian deck, so there's like, you can take this deck in a whole bunch of different directions. Anti-meta with Necro Valley, Egyptian gods with True Name, and, you know, Winged Dragon of Ra, sphere mode, so you could sphere mode their field if you really want to. And there's so many different ways you can take this deck, guys. I'm just telling you all of them, all the ways I've been playing around with the deck. For your traps, 3 Pyramid of Light, movie cards, right? Am I joking? So this is one of your 6 ways of, this is 3 of your 6 ways that you can special summon out your Sphinx monsters, your other 3 being your Apprentice Piper. The little piping guy, if you guys don't remember him. So you run 3 of him, 3 of this. Those are your 6 ways of getting out monsters. Your Sphinx monsters. Then we run Skill Drain, Torrential Tribune. Like I said, Torrential Tribune works really well in this deck. And Skill Drain, it's really awesome because if you special summon out with Pyramid of Light, one of these guys, they can attack that turn. So it's kind of like that Beast King Barbaros thing you used to do with Skill Drain back in the day. It doesn't lose the attack and it's a 3,000 beater. Well, this is a 3,000 or 2,500 beater that can attack that turn now. So works out pretty well in the end, I would say. So next up, let's go on to the extra deck. We run number 81, Super Dreadnought Rail Cannon Dora. Dora the Explorer. We run Super Dreadnought Rail Cannon Gustav Max. So this is another way to go into big monsters. And believe me, kaijus really do not wreck this deck. I'm just letting you know. I've ran into kaiju variations of decks online and it just, they don't do much. I'm kind of surprised because I can keep bringing monsters out. But Super Dreadnought Cannon, you attack, overlay into this, burn them for 2,000. Good game. It works. The next important, so you definitely want to run these 3 cards. Everything else is pretty much the cherry on top. Then we run 1 Cyber End Dragon. Cyber End Dragon for your Malefic Cyber Dragon, so you could banish it to bring it out. Then we run a lot of rank 4s, and like I said, if you want to replace this with another engine, there's a lot of extra deck space here. You run Abyss Dweller, your Utopia package, your Castel, a Degusto Emerald for recycling, Heartland Drago, number 82 Heartland Drago, so you can attack them directly if you have 2 rank 4s. And the reason how you're going to make the rank 4s is through the hands if you wanted to. If you get clunky hands, literally. 101 Giant Hand, Tornado Dragon, and number 7 the Malefic Sins. So that's the extra deck. Like I said, your main things you want to have, literally you could run this deck just off this, is these 4 cards. Everything else is just whatever. These are the only 4 cards I made. I looked online for other ones. These were the 4 main cards I made. Nothing else. So yeah, that is the deck, guys. I hope you all enjoyed it. It's a very fun deck. Like I was trying to explain in the video, guys, and I'm sorry I got kind of wordy. There's a lot of different ways you can take this deck if you're trying to build it yourself. I looked online. There's like literally a couple of old deck profiles from like years ago, and people making movie decks of the deck. And you know, go Anubis. You know, he's the, I think, my Egyptian mythology. I love Egyptian mythology, but I'm having a brain fart at this exact moment, which sucks, and I feel embarrassing. But I believe Anubis was the one that if you bought like the feather and they would weigh your heart, and then he would feed it to the crocodile if your heart was too heavy. If it was light, then you would go to the afterlife. That's what he was, pretty much the judgment man. Not the devil, but the judge man. Pretty much weighing your heart and everything. He would put it on the scale. That's my thing about Anubis. I forget exactly what the word is I'm looking for, but yeah. Go Anubis, right, from the movie. And I hope you guys all enjoy this deck profile. It was very fun to make. And I'll see you guys next time. So take care, have fun dueling, good luck dueling. I'll see you guys next time. And go Anubis. And go Egyptian mythology if you love Egyptian mythology. Take care, everybody. I'll see you guys next time. Good luck dueling to all of you.